Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma has stated that his government is actively engaging with local communities of Pilangkata and Maikhuli along with the Ribhoi District Administration to address the concerns of residents who have expressed opposition to being included in Assam in the final boundary resolution. He noted that both states had differing interpretations of the Memorandum of Understanding signed in 2022 under the first phase of border settlement. In order to avoid complications, Conrad Sangma informed that deputy commissioners from both sides had been tasked with groundwork, following which regional committee chairpersons would deliberate on the details before a final meeting between the two chief ministers to confirm the placement of boundary walls in Pilangkata and Maikhuli. However, he acknowledged that the process might take some time. The Chief Minister also expressed optimism that the boundary demarcation, including the installation of pillars in Tarabari, Gizang, Hahim and Boklapara, could be completed before the 15th of August this year. Regarding Malang Salbari, Conrad Sangma pointed out that the area was not listed in the 2012 report on disputed territories as it had been shown as part of Assam by the then Meghalaya government. He questioned how the current administration could claim it now when no such demand had been made earlier, though he added that efforts would be made during surveys to see how the area could be addressed. Describing the situation as complex, he stressed that the government was making every effort to resolve it thoughtfully. On the more sensitive areas of Block 1 and 2, Conrad Sangma clarified that these were currently not part of the ongoing talks due to the high emotions and complexity involved. Addressing environmental concerns raised by Assam, specifically that hill cutting in Meghalaya was contributing to flooding in Guwahati, Conrad Sangma said that during a recent Chief Minister level meeting, both states had agreed to examine the issue through a scientific lens. He stressed the need to rely on data, rainfall patterns and water flow dynamics in urban areas like Guwahati to arrive at factual and evidence-based conclusions.
The Tarabari sector, more specifically in Malang Salbari and adjoining villages. As I had mentioned earlier to you that these villages were not included in the 2012 report that we had given to Government of Assam. Rather, I should say 2012 report, Malang Salbari, the village was named Malang Salbari and mentioned in the report, but in the map that was drawn and submitted in the report, Malang Salbari was shown in Assam and never in the areas of differences. So it was a very, very complicated situation for us when we sat down in 2019-20 to move forward because we were going with the 2012 report. So that's where the crux of the problem came up, because the earlier reports showed Malang Salbari in Assam. And then suddenly now people came and said, no, we want to be part of Meghalaya. So it was a very difficult situation for me to resolve that. We are in touch with Government of Assam. We've spoken, therefore yesterday we had the meeting. I have taken this matter up. I don't want to give any kind of conclusive remarks right now because we're under the process, but we are working on that sector. Regarding the sector for Malang Joypur, there is another village. There also we are working out. There are certain concerns. Huhua Para also there are certain concerns. So we are taking up the matter. As I said, it's too sensitive to talk about it right now because we are in the process. But give us time. We're working on it. These are, as I said, all our areas which were never shown in the map in the areas of differences. These are areas which were in the 2012 report shown in Assam. And that is where the problem came for us. And then suddenly when we decided, and after the MOU was, well, or rather when we were signing the MOU, people had come to us and said that please include us also. But it was a huge challenge for us because in the initial report itself, they had already been placed in Assam and not in the areas of differences. So it was very complicated, but I hope that we'll be able to find a way. When it comes to Pilangkata area and Maikhuli area and all these areas, we are working with the local people. We're talking with the local administration. There are different interpretations being interpreted on the MOU lines by Assam, different interpretation, by Meghalaya, different interpretation. And hence, to avoid any kind of complication, we have asked the two deputy commissioners to sit down and work out the details. post which the chairmen of the two committees, of those regional committees, will then sit down and further work out the details. And then finally, the CMs meet will take place, where we'll be able to freeze the boundary pillars for Pelankata and Maikuli, but it may take some time. But for Tarabari, Gizang, Hahim, Boklapara, I am hopeful that we should be able to draw the boundary lines and put the pillars before the 15th of August. For Ratachera, there's a village called Baikam, and for Pelankata and Maikuli area, we have got some complications. We're working on them, and we'll see how fast we can resolve them.
So the survey is done?
So it's in the process. So in the process of the survey being done, the question is, where does, say Malang Salbari is, like if this is the border that is drawn, and in the old map, which was given by the 2012 report by the then government, they showed Malang Salbari in Assam, not in the areas of differences. Now we have got the areas of differences with us. Assam has agreed to give the whole Tarabari sector to us. But Malang Salbari village was shown outside that area of difference. So what do we do now? But now Malang Salbari people are saying, we also want to be with Meghalaya. So now when we did not demand for that place, how do I now get it? But it is right at the border. So we have requested, and we're trying to figure out how maybe we could speak to Assam and figure out how we could, during the survey, maybe just cover Malang Salbari also. So which is something that's not so simple, but we're trying our best. So it's like that. So in that survey process, we have left Malang Salbari area, we have left Joypur area, we have left Baikam area, we have left the Pelankata area, and we're waiting for certain decisions to be taken. The rest of the surveys are almost 80-90% complete.
How about Block 1, Block 2?
Block 1, Block 2 is not yet on the table. We are still working on it. It's very, very complicated. And obviously there is huge sentiment around it. We don't want to in any way compromise on any of the sentiments that are there, whether it's the people from Meghalaya, our Panar brothers and sisters, or whether it's the people from Karbi areas. There are a lot of complications there. So we have to really work on it very carefully. But both the state governments are very much aware about it, and we will see how to move forward. But we'll take, as I said, we'll take it, in a not a kind of a speedy way, but we'll take it in a very sustainable way and find a solution where we can find acceptability from both sides.
What about the livelihood of people on border area?
And wherever the problems are there for any kind of law and order issues, as and when it comes up, we try to intervene, and try to resolve those issues. Wherever our people, our farmers are working in the areas of differences, we try to work out with the Assam government and the Karbi Autonomous District Council to allow our people easy entry. But local tensions come out from time to time. But we are in close touch, and we are trying to see that the livelihood of the people is not affected. We are very clear about that. But because there are counterclaims, because Assam also has got claims on that land, it becomes a disputed area. So ultimately, the only solution will be to finally find a solution and a resolution to this. And there are only two ways to move forward. The first way is for the state governments and the people to come together and come to a conclusion and say, look, this is Assam and this is Meghalaya and this will lie. And we are happy that at least in 6 locations we have reached to that point. Now the other 6 locations, we're hopeful that we'll be able to negotiate, discuss, find a way forward. And if the dialogue and discussions don't work, then the only other option is court. And there's no other way. So really we are stuck. So whether we want to leave everything in the court's jurisdiction and decide that whatever the court decides, or whether continue to talk about it, these are only 2 options is what I'm saying. I'm not saying we're going to do that, but the options are only 2. So we are hoping that the political dialogue and the discussions that are taking place within the 2 states will lead to a constructive conclusion, and we will have that map that we want. So